In the dim glow of a 1938 spring evening, a young man boards a ship in Palermo, Italy. He's dressed simply, carrying a small suitcase and a passport that bears the name Ettore Majorana. At 31 years old, he's one of the sharpest minds in physics, a prodigy whose ideas whisper of worlds unseen, particles that dance through matter like ghosts, forces that could unlock the atom's deepest secrets. But as the ship cuts through the Mediterranean waves toward Naples, Ettore vanishes. No trace, no body, no farewell, just a void where a genius once stood. And with him, the promise of inventions that might have reshaped our world. What drove him to disappear? Was it fear of his own brilliance, or something darker lurking in the shadows of a Europe on the brink of war? This is the story of Ettore Majorana, the man who saw the future, and then stepped out of it forever. Let's rewind to the beginning, to a boy born in Catania, Sicily, in 1906. Ettore was the youngest of 5 brothers in a family of intellectuals, his father an engineer, his uncles mathematicians and physicists. From an early age, he was different. Shy, introspective, with eyes that seemed to pierce through the ordinary. By 9, he was solving complex equations in his head, outpacing tutors who marveled at his gift. He calculates like a machine, one said, but dreams like a poet. Ettore's mind wasn't just quick, it was revolutionary. He saw patterns where others saw chaos, connections that bridged the quantum realm with the stars. In 1923, at just 17, he enrolled at the University of Rome, studying engineering before switching to physics under the wing of Enrico Fermi. Yes, that Fermi, the architect of the nuclear age. Fermi called him the Grand Inquisitor, a nickname that captured Ettore's relentless pursuit of truth. He questioned everything, dissecting theories with a quiet intensity that left his peers in awe. By his mid-20s, Ettore had already made waves. In 1932, he independently predicted the existence of the neutron, a subatomic particle that would become the key to nuclear fission. But he didn't publish it. He let others take the credit. Why? Humility? Or a deeper unease with the power he wielded? As the 1930s unfolded, Europe simmered with tension. Mussolini's Italy allied with Hitler's Germany, and science became a weapon. Physicists like Fermi raced to unravel the atom, knowing it could birth unimaginable energy or destruction. Ettore dove deeper. He turned to quantum field theory, pondering particles that defied the laws we knew. In 1937, he proposed what we now call Majorana fermions, exotic particles that are their own antiparticles, capable of existing in superposition, blurring the line between matter and antimatter. Imagine it, tiny entities that could store information indefinitely, immune to decay. Today, they're the holy grail of quantum computing, promising machines that solve problems in seconds, what takes supercomputers eons. But back then, Ettore saw further. His equations hinted at nuclear processes that could harness infinite energy, or perhaps even weapons of apocalyptic scale. Experts today still grapple with his vision. As physicist Frank Wilczek, a Nobel laureate, once reflected, Majorana's work was decades ahead. He glimpsed a unified theory of forces that we're only now chasing with particle accelerators, like the LHC. Ettore's notes, scribbled in elegant script, revealed a man wrestling with the ethics of discovery. In letters to friends, he wrote of the burden of knowledge, how splitting the atom might unleash hell upon the earth. Was he tormented by the thought that his ideas could fuel war? Italy's fascist regime pushed scientists toward military applications, and rumors swirled of secret projects. Ettore, ever the loner, grew withdrawn. He took a professorship in Naples in 1937, but rarely lectured. Instead, he paced the halls, murmuring calculations, his health failing under the weight of unspoken fears. Then came the twist that haunts historians to this day. On March 25, 1938, Ettore withdrew his entire salary, about 14,000 lire, a small fortune, from his bank. He penned 2 letters, one to his colleague Antonio Corelli, saying, "I have made a decision that was inevitable. There is not a single trace of selfishness in it. But I realize the trouble my sudden disappearance will cause." The other to his family. "I hope you will forgive me. I am no longer able to bear this life." Suicide notes? Perhaps. He boarded the mail steamer Tirrenia that night, bound for Naples. A fellow passenger later claimed to have seen him in his cabin, reading a book, calm as the sea. But here's where the mystery deepens. The ship docked in Naples the next morning, and Ettore was gone. No splash heard, no body recovered despite searches. Then, days later, a telegram arrived from Palermo. "Don't worry, a letter follows. Majorana," but no letter ever came. Was it a forgery, or a sign he'd staged his own exit? Theories exploded like the particles he studied. Some said suicide. Depression had plagued him, fueled by isolation and perhaps unrequited love. Others whispered of foul play, kidnapped by foreign agents eager for his nuclear secrets. Germany, the Soviets, even the Vatican, some speculate, hiding him to prevent atomic horrors. And then the sightings began. In the 1950s, a priest in Argentina claimed to have met a man matching Etter's description, a reclusive Italian physicist living under an alias, tinkering with equations in a monastery. In the 1970s, Italian investigators probed leads in Venezuela, where a witness swore he saw Majorana in a cafe, aged but unmistakable, discussing quantum theory with locals. Fermi himself, before his death in 1954, confided to a friend, Ettore was too intelligent. If he decided to disappear, no one would find him. A surprising revelation came in 2011 when Italian prosecutors reopened the case. Analyzing old photos and testimonies, they concluded he might have fled to South America, escaping the moral quagmire of wartime science. But proof elusive as a neutrino. What if he hadn't vanished? That's the question that lingers, heavy with what-ifs. Etter's ideas on nuclear forces predated the Manhattan Project. Had he stayed, collaborated with Fermi, who fled to America and built the first reactor, perhaps the atomic bomb arrives sooner, or differently. Or maybe he prevents it, advocating for peace. His Majorana particles, they're now pivotal in topological quantum computers, devices that could revolutionize AI, cryptography, even medicine by simulating molecules at impossible speeds. As tech historian Margaret O'Mara notes, Majorana's disappearance was a fork in the road of human progress. We lost not just a man, but a potential era. Yet, beyond the science, this is a story of the human soul stretched thin by ambition. Etter wasn't chasing fame or fortune. He sought understanding, pure and profound. But knowledge, like fire, can warm or burn. In his final days, he confided to a student about the abyss of discovery, how peering too deep reveals not just wonders, but our fragility. His loss echoes through time, a reminder that genius often walks hand in hand with solitude, that the brightest minds can flicker out in the dark. As the waves of the Mediterranean still crash against Sicilian shores, Ettore Majorana remains a ghost in the machine of history. Did he choose oblivion to spare the world his inventions? Or was he silenced by forces beyond his control? We may never know. But in the quiet spaces between atoms, in the hum of quantum dreams, his legacy whispers, what price do we pay for reaching too far? And what mysteries do we leave behind when we vanish into the unknown?